Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, how we're going to fix both of those things together, but the content today we're going to talk about is Donald Trump actually stood up and resisted the charge for gun control. It happened immediately, most likely because he caved in the first term, but this one, he seems to be standing strong, and the media is doing everything that they can to make him buckle. Everything I'm going to show you is linked in the description box below. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on because YouTube's doing that thing again. You know the drill. Let's get right into it, people. Okay. So first off, we're going to jump right over to my X profile, at BradenLOA. Please feel free to follow me so we can have some fun together and have a good time while we talk about the things that don't make the YouTube videos together. All right. Let's dive right in. So first off, Trump. In the wake of the FSU shooting yesterday, the media was very quick to try to jump on the idea that we might be able to get some sort of executive action or gun control from Trump because he did it the first term with bump stocks, maybe this time. And he was pretty quick to shut that down. I mentioned yesterday that Trump seemed apprehensive to do anything with gun control after the shooting. Yeah. This is what he said after that, and I'm going to show you this clip, and it's pretty solid and strong, and I did post about this on X when it happened, but listen to this, and then we'll break it down.
There are now 2 deceased following that shooting at Florida State University. Following and amid that, is there any changes that you want to see to gun legislation? Anything you see broken with gun laws in our country?
I'm going to have to look. I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it, and these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting. The people do. It's a phrase that's used probably too often. I will tell you that it's a shame. I'm just hearing about it now. I just hear about it. I know the area very well. I know the school very well. I know everything about it. It's Florida, and we'll have more to say about it later.
What do you mean when you say there will be more to say about it?
Only in terms of what happened. As far as legislation is concerned, this has been going on for a long time. I have an obligation to protect the Second Amendment. I ran on the Second Amendment, among many other things, and I will always protect the Second Amendment.
All right, that was a very good answer. I'm going to be candid. I have an obligation to support and protect the Second Amendment. The gun doesn't do it, the criminal does. All of these things are accurate. They are correct, and that is what we need to hear from the highest office in the land. This was not a wishy-washy answer. This was a very solid, well-footed answer. I'm here for this. This is the Trump that I want to see when opportunists try to take gun rights away from the population based off of criminality, psychopathy, or just murder. Not acceptable. But don't worry, guys. That's not going to take away the opportunist from trying. This is what Everytown for Gun Safety said. Shame on every single elected official who sees kids shot in their schools as acceptable collateral damage for unfettered access to guns. Need somewhere to channel your outrage into action? Text ready blah 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 to join us. So, standing on tragedy again. And then, they're acting like this is a bad thing. Donald Trump's response to a question on the Florida State University shooting. I have an obligation to protect the Second Amendment. I ran on the Second Amendment, among many other things, and I will always protect the Second Amendment. That is their call to action to get people to donate to do their outrage into action at Everytown for Gun Safety while they stand on another tragedy to get their blood money. Guys, these people are disgusting, but they're trying to frame what I just showed you with Trump's words on the shooting as a net negative. In my opinion, they are a net positive. He did well on this, but these people are still dung beetles. All right, let's continue. Jump over to the media because this is what they are trying to do here. 2 different aspects of this. Let me show you. Trump calls deadly FSU shooting terrible, but suggests he won't back new gun laws. Now, this is from a leftist for sure, Joe Walsh on X. He's also a reporter for CBS or an article, editorial, whatever. All right. President Trump said Thursday that a shooting at Florida State University that killed 2 people was terrible and a shame, but suggested he's unlikely to back any new gun control measures, saying he's a big advocate of the Second Amendment. Good. Okay, let's keep on going. You're going to see how they're trying to frame this. Mr. Trump has generally opposed new gun control measures. He signed an executive order in early February ordering Attorney General Pam Bondi to look into rolling back several Biden-era gun regulations, including stricter rules for firearm dealers. Yes, he did, and we are still getting that rolled out. So all the stuff that they're trying to frame as Trump is equal to guns because therefore guns are bad, so therefore Trump is bad, it's not going to work. It's not working the same way. And then there's this guy who's now the vice chair. You guys know this guy. Looks good choice, Dims. Good choice. Now let's go to the next thing that the media is doing because again, this is the fallout from the shooting and how they're trying to frame this. So they couldn't get Trump. They can't get their gun control. Watch what they're trying to do now. Despite recent mass shootings, Florida legislature considers repealing gun age law. Now, again, this is on the same day. First, it was Trump being bad and supporting the Second Amendment, and then it was the Florida legislature for trying to roll back the 18, 19, and 20-year-old ban. Just a little over a mile from SSU, the Florida legislature has been considering the removal of a gun control law passed after the 2018 massacre in Parkland, in which 17 people were killed in mass shootings at the high school. They should repeal that law. And again, there's something at the end here that I need to show you. Why are people who are 18, 19, and 20 able to get into marriages and go to army and military and do all these different things, but they can't get their Second Amendment rights? They can vote, do everything else, but not your Second Amendment rights because it's special. Nope, it's a right like the rest of them. Weeks after the tragedy, Florida passed wide-ranging gun control legislation, talking about the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, which, among other things, prohibited most people under 21 from buying rifles and other long guns. Republican state leaders led the way on legislation at the time. That was Rick Scott, by the way. He almost led the Senate, just saying. But 7 years later, there was a renewed push to strip it from the books, with Republican politicians leading the way yet again, now in the other direction. Good. It needs to be repealed. It needs to be ripped out. All right? And here's one of the GOA state leader. Oh, goodness gracious. He leads the state for GOA. You're an adult at 18, Valdez said. If you're going to make the argument that we need to raise the age, then raise it for voting, raise it for getting into contracts, and raise it for getting into being married. So here's the thing. The Democrats would never raise the age of gun ownership, or excuse me, of voting, because then that takes away one of their key voting blocks. They would never do that, but they'll take away their gun rights. They'll take away those rights, but not the voting rights. Just saying, it's a pretty stark hypocrisy. And finally, wrapping this up, this is Democrat Jared Moskowitz. He's a Marjorie Stoneman alum who was a state representative following Parkland and helped pass the initial law. He bristles at the idea that legislation was emotionally driven. And then he gives an emotional answer, which I'm not even going to read. Guys, where we're at right now in the fallout of the FSU shooting is pretty clear. Trump said nothing's going to happen. We're not doing it. It's the people, not the gun. Every time for gun safety tries to fundraise on it, and they try to manipulate the entire thing like they always do. The media tries to build energy against Trump. Didn't work. And then they're going to go after the Republicans who are trying to get rid of existing gun control in an immediate attempt to frame any type of freedom as a tyrannical action. This is where we're at in the fallout of the FSU shooting. I hope this clears it up. Give Trump some props on the X profiles when you follow and when you repost this. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.